Dear students, welcome to Mayura Virtual Academy. In this session, we'll be learning about Android components. The agenda for this course is we'll be learning about Android components. Totally there are 4 Android components, and we'll be concentrating about one Android component, that is activity, and we'll be learning in detail about activity. As I told earlier, Android has got 4 components. One is activity, second one is broadcast receiver, third one is services, and the final one is content provider. Activity forms as a building block of Android applications, Android platform. It serves as the entry point for the user interactions. So whenever you launch an application, you'll be shown up with one screen or the view single screen, which is an activity. So the activity dictates the UI and under the user interaction with the applications. If you have worked on C, C++ or Java, the entry point for the program will be the main method. Similarly, onCreate will be the entry point for the activity component of Android. However, the Android provides various callbacks. It is very important for us to understand each callbacks provided by the activity provided in the activity component. There are some situations whenever there is a orientation changes, the activity will be destroyed and it will be recreated. And the other scenario is when the user is interacting with the applications and the data is lost. The other scenario is when there are many applications that are running in the background, and in order to release the memory, the Android system will destroy the application processes. In these conditions, we need to handle skillfully and we need to provide the better user experiences. In order to have this, we need to have the better understanding about the callbacks that is provided by the Android in the activity component. Now let us look into the activity lifecycle. As I told earlier, onCreate will be the entry point for the activity component. So where we can initialize the data. In the onCreate callback, we can initialize the data that is required for the application. Once onCreate is done, it will be coming into the onStart state where the application will be visible to the user. The onStart state will be very transient. It will be moving into the onResume state where the user can interact with the applications. Whenever the other applications or is launched, our activity will be going from on foreground state to the pause state where the activity will no longer be visible to the user. The on pause state is very transient and it will be moving into the on stop state. From on stop state, it can either be recreated by relaunching the applications from the home button, or if you are closing the application process will be killed using onDestroy method. If there are many processes running in the background, Android system kills the application process based on the priority and release the memory. So in that situation, the application will be launched using onCreate method. So if you want to retrieve the data and store the data, all such the bigger operations should be performed in the onStop state, and you should not perform any the longer operations such as data connectivity and the download options and saving the data and all those things in the on-pause state. So all the longer operations should be performed in the on-stop state. So these are the callbacks that is provided by the Android for the activity component. One is onCreate for the entry point and initialize the data. OnStart is where it will be visible to the user. OnResume state is where the user can interact with the application. OnPause state is where the activity will no longer be visible in the onStop. We can retrieve that, we can save the data and perform longer operations. From onStop state, it can be restarted or it can be destroyed. So these are the things that I have already explained. And there are some special cases as I conveyed earlier. Whenever there is a orientation changes, the application process will be killed and it will be recreated. So suppose you are filling some registration form and if you are giving email and the name and the credentials, and the application orientation changes from landscape to portrait. So the normal behavior is whenever there is a change in the orientation, the application process will be killed and it will be restarted. So all the user that the data that is given as an input will be lost and it will be recreated once again. So which is not a good the user experience, because the user need to enter all the data again. In such situation, the Android provides few callbacks where we can save the data. as a bundle. Bundle is a messaging object which stores the primitive data such as the names, emails, which is as a text views in Android. The bundle objects can take the data as a name value pair, and this onSave instance state will be called before destroying the applications, that is in between onStop state and onDestroy state. And this bundle will be sent to the onCreate method. So whenever the application is recreated, it will be calling the onCreate method where we'll be getting the bundle state, bundle saved instance state. If this is not null, we can retrieve that the data whatever the user has given as an input from the bundle using the get objects, and the data can be restored either in the onCreate method or on restore instance state. In both these callbacks will be getting the same bundle state. So this is about activity lifecycle. Now let us execute a simple hello world project to understand the lifecycle callbacks, and we can also look into the special scenarios that how to retrieve the data whenever there is a change in orientation and other scenarios. Thank you.